What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Evan, and you know Mo's up to no good. So as you guys can tell, I'm outside. I'm just pretty warm. I got a hoodie, the beanie hat, or whatever you call this, on my head. The hands are a little cold, but it's a little bit of a warm but cold day. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna actually wash the Jag because it's got salt all over it. Fortunately, I had to drive it in the salt. It hasn't snowed anyways, but they've just dropped a ton of salt, thinking that it was going to snow, but it actually didn't. It's very unfortunate. So I had to drive the Jag in salt, and that's why it's full of salt. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to show you guys how I wash the Jag in the wintertime, how I set everything up, and how I get hot water outside without actually using cold water and making my hands frozen and unable to feel them. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to show you guys how I do it. So let's get right to it. What's going on, you guys? So we're downstairs right now. We're actually inside my room where I have my storage setup, or my little setup for washing cars in the wintertime. Behind me there is a sink. This sink is similar to the sink you'll find at a mechanic's garage. Usually after a job's done, or if the mechanic's hands are dirty, they'll normally go to the sink to wash them. Right in front of me is a storage for garden hoses. It's meant to store the hoses, garden hoses, inside here. Now, I bought this about 4 or 5 years ago at Home Depot. The way it comes is empty. You actually have to buy a hose for it. Now, the hose that's inside here is about 50 feet long. So if I open it up, you guys get a better idea. So it's 50 feet long. This setup here at the end actually is not how it came. I had a leak here at the nozzle fitting, and it was just leaking like crazy. So I ended up cutting it flush and ordering from Amazon I guess you want to call it garden hose repair kit. And it came with this fitting here, these two fittings actually here. And then it allows me to actually remove the garden hose nozzle at one end. So it's a quick disconnect fitting. So this is what basically is at the end of this garden hose, and now it's rolled up obviously, and it stores I believe a 50-foot hose, and I think up to a 100-foot hose. I'm not exactly sure, but this one here stores a 50-foot hose. This is how my setup is. And then towards the right side, depending how you view it, we have a hose here. This hose actually connects to my sink behind me. Now I'm going to bring the camera in and show you, but it basically just screws onto the end of the sink's faucet, and then once it connects, I'm able to open the hot water and a little bit of the cold water, get it kind of hot, not too hot, but kind of hot, warm, and I'm able to pull this line from here all the way outside into the backyard to wash the cars that are full of salt in the wintertime. This is how I've been using it. It's been a great setup and it works efficiently. I like this better than having a hose outside. Even if I did have a setup where I had hot water coming from the outside wall, I probably would have just stuck with this setup, because most of the times that hose will probably be hardened from the outside temperature. So this is actually a lot better, because you actually can keep the hose from the outside elements from, you know, causing it to crack or to harden. So I like this setup. This is how I do it. I was very fortunate to have a sink behind me with the attachment for the hose, so I'm able to run this outside. So that's how I did it, and that's how I thought of it. So this is the setup. So I'm going to close this, and I'm bring the camera in and show you how I hook it up. All right, you guys, so we got the hose right here. We're going to go ahead and attach it to the sink. Now the sink has this, this would be a male fitting at the end, and it will attach to the female side of the hose, and it just screws on like this. Turn it clockwise, and it's hooked up. So once it's hooked up, you can turn the water. So I got them labeled here: C for cold, H for hot. I'm going to go ahead and turn the hot water. We're going to turn it back just a little bit, turn the cold water on, just like that. And this way we have some hot and cold water at the same time, so it's not too hot or too cold. So let's go outside and start hosing down this vehicle. Alright, you guys, so I'm outside right now. We got the buckets laid out. This is the setup I run all year round and throughout the winter time. So I'm going to go through each bucket so you guys can get an idea of what I use each bucket for. So the white bucket here is specifically for soap and water. get the wash mitt nice and lubricated with soap and water. Next bucket is for just dumping the dirty wash mitt and getting rid of any debris or any rocks and stuff. It does have a wash grid on the bottom, so you'll put your wash mitt in it, press against it, get rid of all the dirt. Third bucket here specifically just for the dirty wheels. I have two brushes in here, one that is used just for the wheels themselves and one is just to clean the tires all around. So I don't use both of them for the tires and the wheels. So I use one for the wheel, one for the tires. You could use one for all, but I like to keep things separated because, you know, there may be a lot more dirt on the tires versus on the wheels. So I just like to make sure we don't get, you know, a ton of debris on just one brush. So, and we just dry get everything across. And then we also have a set of Atlas Vinyl Love gloves here. They're pretty warm. They got some material inside. It's supposed to keep your hands warm, especially when you're washing cars and you're dumping your hands in cold water. This will actually keep them nice and warm. So continuing on this bucket here, we actually have small buckets. In this bucket we have small bottles that have been filled with fluid and different type of chemicals. So in this one here specifically, we have a mother's interior detailer. The next one we have here is a glass cleaner, which is tint safe. And the next one we have a brake dust wheel cleaner. So this is specifically for the wheels. Then we have one here that is for a quick detailer. So this is a quick detail spray. Then we have a extreme tire shine. So we got some tire shine. And then we have some carpet cleaner here that we could use to keep to clean the carpets if they're really dirty and they need something to help loosen the dirt. And then we just got a regular wax and dry spray wax. So I like to keep things organized. So that's why this bucket here is full of different chemicals. So all of these small bottles here are full of different chemicals. That helps me keep everything organized. And whenever I need something, I can just reach in the bucket and grab it. And then in this bucket next to me, we have quite a bit of stuff. We actually have two chamois here in the corner. So let me just pull one out. This one here is to help me dry the vehicle. Sometimes I might use a leaf blower. Sometimes I'll just use this to wipe down and absorb all the water that's sitting on the paint after you wash it. Then we have a couple of brushes here. Got a brush here. This is a different type of brush. This is basically for the inside, like the carpets or the upholstery. So one's a little bit harder, the other one's a little bit softer. And then going on, we have I believe this is for the inside wheel well of the wheels. You can use this to wash or remove the dirt off the wheels on the inside. And then continuing on, we have a couple of brushes here. These are for the interior. I'm going to start using them. I haven't used them yet, but I'm going to use them for like the vents, the trim pieces, trim panels, maybe the seats, stuff like that, cup holders and stuff like that. And then just moving on, we have here an applicator pad that I use to put tire shine on and just spread it evenly across the tires. Then let's put this to the side. Then we have some, oops, that's going to fall. We have some turtle wax. Then we have some Jaguar's car wash soap, and then we also have a set of soft boar's head bristle brushes. I've been using these specifically to clean the lug nuts on the wheels and small stuff like that. I use different ones for the interior as well, so you know, I like to keep everything organized. And then we have a cone here I use to clean the exhaust. Apply some Mag's aluminum, I think it's Mag's aluminum polisher or something like that. I don't know what it's called, but just put some on, put it on the drill, and then clean the tips and remove all that brake, or not that brake dust, but all that black build up around the exhaust tip. So this is what I use. So this is the setup. It's a pretty simple, pretty straightforward setup. It helps me keep everything organized, and I'm able to wash the cars in a quicker and a more efficient manner. So it's getting cold. Let me just start filling these buckets up with some water, and we'll start washing the car, and I'll show you guys some. Let's go. Alright, you guys, as you guys saw, we just ended up washing the Jag, and it looks absolutely amazing. It did take quite a bit of time because I wanted to thoroughly get the soap off the paint as much as possible. I threw some water underneath the carriage, didn't put really soap underneath, but I just sprayed it with some water underneath. So right now, as you guys can tell, it's got a bit of snow coming down, so I think it's like a little bit of snowflakes coming down. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're just gonna grab this vacuum that's laying right in front of me. We're gonna vacuum the inside, just get rid of some of the dirt that may have fallen underneath the WeatherTech mats, since I do use the car sometimes every day or every other day, depending on when I go to work. Sometimes I switch cars and whatnot, but the mats are dirty, so I'm gonna grab this vacuum in front. Just vacuum the inside just a little bit. We're not gonna go crazy and detail the trim pieces and stuff like that because it's starting to snow a little bit. So, and just want to finish, go inside and rest because I got work tomorrow. So we're gonna go ahead right now and just grab the vacuum the floor, the carpet, and just grab the compressed air, blow some of the dirt from underneath the seats out while I vacuum, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, let's grab the vacuum. Let's get to it. Guys, as you guys can tell, we just finished vacuuming. I didn't go too crazy with the vacuum. Just wanted to remove some of the dirt that may have fallen from underneath the WeatherTech mats onto the actual carpet of the Jaguar, behind the seats, stuff that may have fallen onto the seats, around the trim pieces of the gear shifter, on the dash, stuff like that. You get it. So I'm just gonna end it right here because it's getting cold. It actually looks pretty nice. Well, actually, it looks nice seeing the snowflakes coming down, but it's getting cold, it's getting late, and that's pretty much it. So, you know the vibes. I'm out.